What's going on, guys? Thursday night here in the Northwest. Thanks for jumping on here. Northwest Chat Thursday. Had quite a busy week. We'll get into that in just a minute. Wait for a few more people to jump on. Hope we had a great week of racing. If you weren't racing, just spending time with the family or hanging out in the Northwest. I know it's been nice, and right now it's a little drizzly outside here, but we've had some great days, and I know we're coming up on the 4th of July here in a couple days, and weather's going to get back. So can't wait for all that. So let a couple people jump on, throw some stuff in the comments. Let's see what's going on out there. Obviously, last weekend we were at the over there in Boise, Eagle Hills RC. Those guys have a great program, great club program. We got a couple of shots on here. Obviously, the one in the water wasn't actually there, but kind of shows kind of what we were up against, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But glad everybody is doing good. I know I've talked to a lot of people this last week, and the people that are in the know that know what's been going on. Appreciate you guys reaching out and talking and all the help that's been going. So we'll get on to that in just a second. But yeah, more people jumping on here. So last week, like I say, we were in Eagle, Idaho for round 3, Firecracker Fury up there. Weekend started out great. We got there on Thursday. We got there on Thursday evening, and track was looking good. A lot of stuff still going on. A couple of those guys we haven't met before, so did all those introductions and got that out of the way. But that was good. And then Friday morning, rolled around. We got some practice happening on Friday and getting everything set up and getting the live going. And Ryan Rivas, of course, being an RD, got all his stuff going on. Like I said, met a lot of people that haven't met before, talked to people on Facebook and messaging, and they're really excited to bring the NCT back to, I guess they call that the Valley, I think. I forget the actual name that they, Treasure Valley, I believe. And I think it's been like 14 years or something like that since NCT's been back. So they were really excited. Um, thanks to all the sponsors that helped put on that event and all the people that spent lots of time making sure that event went off. And Chad Dodd, of course, came in, and we all know how well he can build a track and put that all together. And that track was fast, and that back straightaway that went up the hill there on the right kind of did not really a wall ride, but went up on the hill and turned around. That straight was really, really long. So, but then we all know that Friday we were hearing about some thunderstorms and stuff, and it was things were happening around, and that happened. Boy, I tell you what, that happened. And but I'll tell you what, everybody, we were ready for it. We knew what they wanted to do, and we had plastic ready, and Ryan Rivas was running seating, trying to get everybody locked in for the next day to help that program go a little quicker. And about 3/4 of the way through seating, we knew it was coming, and so we shut everything down. Everybody had a job and a task, and we grabbed plastic and spread it out. And I know there's pictures and videos out there of that. People want to share that. We'll let those people take care of that. And that came on, and we went back to the hotel. We had a good meal, spent some time with some friends, new friends, and it rained, and we went through some hail and some flooding and on all this stuff when the news was all over it. Of course, haven't had a storm like that in the valley there in 50, 60 years or something. So that was pretty intense. But got up the next morning, and the track it looked pretty much like this picture here on the left that you see. It was underwater, and that track facility is in a park, really nice park. And luckily, I guess in one hand, for all the people that had the tents and stuff like that, the way that it sits down, the wind and everything kind of went over the top of us. But I honestly thought that we were packing up and we were going home. I mean, there was a lot of water. It was not a good sight. But they looked at me and said, "Nope, it'll be fine. The water will go away." And okay, so we spent the time and we scraped it, went big crew, a lot of people, everyone was laughing and having a great time. And we had a few pumps going, dug a few holes, water started going away. We scraped off a little bit of slime on the top, and it was drying out. And of course, Chad Dodd and James and Tim Wallace and all the other guys there, they had a big pile of dirt that was dry underneath, scraped off a little bit of the slime, and they started spotting, dry dirt around the track and start spreading it out. And we were raking it. And I believe not Connor, I can't remember, forget what your name was, but he jumped on the roller. And by 4 o'clock, we were jumping into qualifying again. I mean, that morning it was underwater, and by 4 o'clock we were on the track. And I want to say about maybe 5:30, quarter to 6, there was a couple places that needed water. It was amazing. I couldn't believe it, but they were right. So we ran a qualifier, and then we opened up the track for practice. We want to make sure that those people that came, they got a lot of run time and not just in qualifying. So we opened up for practice, so everybody got an ample amount of practice until the sun went down. And then Sunday morning, started A1 and ran triple quals. And I'm sure a lot of people noticed that, Saturday we had, the qual one on the live stream here on YouTube, and it didn't show up on Sunday. So unfortunately, we had a medical emergency in the family that happened. And Saturday, the person that's been helping us out behind the scenes, our social person there, um, he we packed up and left on Saturday. We had to come home and deal with that. And fortunately, my mom's doing good. She had her surgery, and she's in a rehab center, and all that's going good. My dad's doing good. It's just been kind of a crazy week, getting all that taken care of. But people that have reached out really, really appreciate that. And a lot of people said, "Hey, what do you need? What can we do to help?" We have another race in a couple weeks. So anyway, really appreciate everyone that came behind the scene and reached out and said, "What do you need?" So much appreciated to the RC community and just friends and other family members. But yeah, so 185 entries. I believe that's where we ended up for Eagle. Um, that's a great number considering what we were looking at going into that weekend. That's definitely a success for that group. Great bunch of guys, great hard racing that went on. I mean, I wasn't able to watch it, but definitely saw it on the live through live time and talking to some people throughout that day on Sunday when I was home here taking care of things. And that was just a great event. It was just unfortunate, that I had to leave, and the fact that so much time had to be spent on Saturday to get that track back. And it was probably even better because that track was definitely grooving up when I left on Saturday evening. And I know, talking to a couple people throughout on Sunday, that it was getting even better. And I could see the lap times throughout the mains on Sunday for those people. Those lap times were even, lowering. So great job, you guys. Hats off. Um, and glad you guys are, I guess you say, back in the family on that. So next race coming up on the 17th through 19th, Nora, of course, up there in Burlington. They were out for I believe 2 years, and they were doing a little bit of change up there. So glad that they're back in. Of course, I'm helping out on their club racing program, and Casey is also, and a couple of the people behind the scenes. So we have a track rebuild, of course, 100% coming in here. I believe kind of starting not this weekend, obviously, but next weekend we're gonna be doing some stuff, get some pipe pulled. So we're trying to put together a little bit of a crew that want to come in and get the pipe pulled just completely out of the way. We got nails and all that you got to straighten out. A little bit of maintenance items. We're probably going to start moving some dirt following weekend. Got a little bit of equipment coming, so we can get ready for that. We have a couple things that we're going to be doing are going to be definitely unique. So if you guys aren't signed up and Don't know if you're going to come or not. Well, I would, because I'll tell you what, Chad Dodd's coming back. He's coming back the following Tuesday, I believe he's showing up, and we got some things up our sleeves, and that track going to be one of the better ones that has been on the NCT circuit. Not putting anybody else, but we're going to definitely go all out for this one, and all these little tricks we've been wanting to do and little things. So we're definitely going to throw them all out there and really make this event a big one. We got camping, of course, now on the Shopify site, so you can go on there. And of course, Thursday night, Joe and AJ Rodriguez will be over doing their next level clinic, 7 to 9 on that Thursday. They've been doing it a couple times already in the series on 5 to 7. We talked to them about doing a little bit later. So 7 to 9 p.m. on Thursday, they'll be doing that at Nora. So I believe still at the 15 entries. And remember, you guys, that's free. There's no cost for that. So to not take advantage of that, I mean, why would you not? So I don't know how many are on there right now, but I can't imagine that there's many left if they're not full up. So get onto the myshopify.com under NCT Racing, get yourself signed up. Get on the camping. There's 3 different choices for the camping this year. There's a couple 50 amp spots for a couple bigger RVs that we know that are around that race. And I believe there's 10 of the 30 amp spots. And then I think 20 of kind of general RV spots that will have some, basic 15, 20 amp style electrical service for people. And then, of course, we'll even have more scattered around for just regular camping. And of course, the pit space around there is it's all grass, everything but the track, and a very little spot is gravel. If you've never been to Nora, is all grass, and the city, the parks department, they take care of most of that on the outside of the fence, so it's well groomed up. And then I don't have a flyer on here, it's my bad, sorry about that. We have Cowboy Coffee, they'll be showing up on Saturday morning, and Sunday morning they have some breakfast items, and of course all the coffee. The people that have been to Nora before, if you do like a Google Earth search, there's a house there that's kind of on the west side of where the camping will be. There's nobody in that house, so we're able to use a little more of that grassy area by the trees into a little bit of the south of the house. We can't enter into the facility from over there, but the vendor, that Cowboy Coffee, they'll be set up over there in that grassy area, kind of between the big trees and the house. We're definitely going to put pit spots over there for pop-ups and whatever. Then of course, east of the oval track, we're going to have all that full of the pop-ups and dry camping and all that. So going to be a great event. I'm not sure what our numbers are right now, but I'll be looking at that in the next couple days and making more posts. Still dealing with some stuff on my end here at home, but things are looking good. So appreciate everybody on that. What else we got in the chat going on? I know the clinic is definitely a sought after, want, the camping. A lot of people want to be able to do camping. I know Eagles was unable to put together camping for this year. Hopefully they're going to work on the next year. I know they have a big BMX group that's right there next to them that want to do the same. So hopefully that'll be a plus and even increase those entries, next year for that event. And can't imagine any of the weather next year being a factor. This was just total out of the ordinary for them. So that probably won't be a thing, should not be a thing. And even if it was, they worked through it. So they had a great event. I was really bummed I wasn't able to be there, but a lot of people, like I said, reaching out and telling me how the event was going. Big shout out to Jason Imba and the Flowers group there, and Pat George's wife. Sorry, Pat, I'll tip my tongue. Can't remember your wife's name. I really super apologize for that. But Karina, that's right. She took care of the raffle for EHR, and that was just way and above anything we could ask for. We had a great group of sponsors, the local hobby shop, Action Hobbies. They donated a great amount. We had Clinic and TCO and Techno, and we had some 3D printed stuff that we've been working on, donated. in there and a couple other items. It was a big table. I don't know actually how many raffle tickets there were that were drawn. But again, then the Techno Nitro Buggy kit, that went out. And I don't know the actual number that they raised, but I know it was a big number, and they appreciate everybody that donated and bought raffle tickets for that. That really helps that program out, and they'll be using those funds for, increasing their facility maintenance or something else that they need. So we know they're excited about that. So really appreciate them. So, Badger Machine Works on here for our sponsors. We do a handout sticker, unique to every event. So thanks, Badger, for keeping the stickers fed on that. And of course, Locked and Loaded Garage Doors. Rob Monday over there in Post Falls, Idaho, big supporter of the channel, big supporter of the NCT, and of course he's going to be hosting the final event this year in September for the series. Can't say enough about him and what he does. Equipment Share, without them sporadically around different tracks, they're helping out with, cords and spider boxes and equipment and a lift, and they're great. I work with a local manager Wade up here in Marysville. He's been great. He's basically like, what do you want and when do you need it? So I can't say enough about those guys. TZO, Nick Hernandez, he's supporting our spec tire program this year at the 601s. The Super Soft pre-glued, earlier in the season we start off with the Ultra Soft, moving into the Super Soft. Those are working great, managing those as we go to the different tracks and keeping track of that surface and how those tires wear. And they've been working great, and talking to the guys that run the spec tire and seeing where they would want something more, or more traction, or the softer compound or harder compound, and it's working out great. We're actually doing I feel a really great job of making sure that tire is fitting each track. That we took dirt samples. Anyone who's listening to the live here a while ago, we talked about all the dirt samples that I've collected over the last few years, and making sure that the tires that we're picking and working with Carson Phipps and TZO on that. So those are working great. And of course, Clinic, don't want to forget them. They're a great supporter of the channel and the series, and of course they added some great raffle prizes, and we're gonna have those throughout the rest of the season to do. And of course, Extreme, that's the other side of what we do, and making sure that we have what you need. I have somebody there that said, come up with a slogan, what racers need when they need it. So, and that's what we're trying to do, making sure that you guys have, adequate replacement parts for the unfortunate things that happen. We know that it does. You can only do so much. We can only carry so much. We're only such a big trailer, but trying to make sure that's taken care of. And if you need stuff, get a hold of us. Within 2 weeks of the race, and we can try to get something if we need to. So really appreciate that. So next race obviously is up on there right now. This flyer that's in the picture is not the updated one as far as camping goes, but on Facebook that is on there. And of course on the Shopify, it's got all those choices. And of course the clinic is on there. So make sure that you guys get signed up for that. A couple people before we actually got it onto the Shopify, I put out there to just message me. So I have those people taken care of. You don't have to go on there. If you do go on there, that's great. Even one less place we have to look for. But I know who you are, on there. Like to give a holler out to Woody. Where you at, Woody? I know you were at the club race last weekend in Nora when we were in Idaho. Appreciate you coming and racing on the mainland. Of course, love that. I know we're gonna see you, I assume, in at Nora here in a few weeks. Let me know what you need. Save you a spot, bud. You know that. You know that you're coming. I'm also calling out Tim Wallace. I know you're coming. You got that awesome pit trailer. And you said you'd come. So let's go, bud. Let's go. Bring that tent scale stuff. Gas truck coming on here at Nora. We want to see you there. And who knows? Tell a bunch of your buddies about the vintage, and we'll fire that baby up. Let's get that out there on Saturday, and maybe even do an exhibition event at Nora with those vintage cars. We'll try to make something happen on that. Who knows? Maybe it's a winner take all type of situation. So, and I know Tim and Shane, they got something going on there. Let's see who's gonna do that. So come on, Shane. Make sure you bring that TLR car that was on the cover that I want you to sign for the RC magazine. I want you to get you to sign that. How's that, bud? Come on, let's do that. That's pretty funny. I love it. Anyway, guys, not much else going on. I know Diehard's got some stuff going on. I know Creekside had something. Of course, Nora on the oval programs going, and I know there's some other local racing going on. Scotty down there at Tacoma is running off. You know, he's has a great summer program. Outlaw up north. Kamloops, they had their program going up north in Canada. I don't actually know the numbers, but talking to a couple guys afterwards, good program, good race weekend, had a lot of fun. I know there's some guys that were up there that didn't make the Eagle one. They're definitely going to be coming down for the Nora race. So I can't wait. You know, a lot of guys at the Nora want to thank that whole group, and Renee and Tim and Steven and Kevin, and oh boy, there's way more than that I need to thank. But Casey, you know, he ran the program last week at Nora for the club racing, 70 entries, I believe what it was. That's great. That's a great number for, you know, a couple big races going on in the Northwest, and of course being part of the NCT. Those people that traveled to the Idaho race, of course, that would have been at the Nora club race. So 70 entries with them being gone. That's great. And I know they ran a like a pro moto bike class or whatever. I saw some video of that. That looked awesome. That was cool. Love that. I'd love to see that grow a little better. And I want to thank, you know, Anthony, a guy from work that I know. Schnacks is nickname. Really good at a lot of this stuff behind the scenes, and he's been helping out, and can't wait to see what he's got for Nora, because he says he's got some stuff up his sleeve that he's going to do. So that event should be great for the people that aren't able to make it, and go back and watch it later. That's the plan. So if you're not sure if you're coming to Nora, you better come. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great event. A lot of people from around that have been messaging me, you know, from weeks ago, even the last couple days. Can't wait. A lot of, you know, obviously we got a lot of camping area and barbecuing, and it's going to be a great event. I can't wait. So appreciate it, you guys. Not a lot of content this week to talk about with everything else going on, but again, thanks everybody. You know, like, share this, you know, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, for whatever reason. Tell your friends, share it out, get it on Facebook. Let's build this thing up, and let's get some content to talk about more of what people want. Going into the series, got a lot of different ideas. Ryan Rivas and some other people, and myself, Jamie, been a part of this series for a long time, and we're looking back at numbers, you know, and talking about, you know, those analytics of what we should change in the program. So that's what we want to hear. What do you guys want to see? What do you guys want us to take away? What do you guys want to add? You want us to change the program? You know, we want to hear all of those things. And if there's enough comments about it, you know, maybe we put on a poll, or we'll talk about those. We want to bring what you guys want to do at a weekend event. That is exactly what we're gonna do. If we get enough people that are gonna commit and follow through with saying, hey, I'll be there if we have this, and there's enough of those people say that, then as long as the track hosts of the 6 or 7, depending on what we do next year, that's what we're gonna do. You know, of course, we're working on the Can-Am for this year. We have some dates, but we're still tying up a couple loose ends, and we'll get that flyer out here relatively soon. It's in October this year, not going to be in November. It'll be October this year, even though it's an indoor event. So we'll be doing that. You know, thanks to Scholston's up there, and Equipment Share, and the regular sponsors, Clinic and TZO, and Techno and Badger, and H2O Solutions, and Nick Peterson Designs, and Locked and Loaded. You know, all those guys are behind that event. So can't wait for that in October. It's a sad time because then the season's over and we're taking a break and do it all over again. But that's always exciting. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you guys soon. I'll keep it open for a little bit. Throw some comments in there. Jump on the Facebook. go to the nctracing.com website. You can comment, email on that. Go to the NCT group or the NCT page, comment on there. And we'll talk to you guys later. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. See ya.